Just 80%. You know, no big deal.
Yeah, I'll finish off the polar bears.
Yeah. Okay. We are live, by the way.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Hey, I'm not first alphabetically.
There you go.
We take the small victories in life.
Yeah.
I guess I'll move this a bit. We're like blocking Detective Bro's face.
Is there a reason you choose like the brightest white picture you can for your stream background?
This is literally the cover art of the manga. What did you want from me? What did you want from me? Did you want me to just lie about what the cover art is? This is what I've always done. I always just take the cover art. What did you want me to do? Fucking turn on dark mode on your end. You're not meant to look at the fucking screen. What do you want from me?
This is very funny.
Christ, you make your own Pluto cover art, which doesn't have a white background, all right? And then you can say what happens here.
Yeah, we should start gaslighting the audience, honestly. That would be pretty funny.
I know you guys do it to me every day, so, you know.
What? No, we don't. You're making that up.
Yeah, come on. We would never do
crazy.
Yeah.
Name one time we've gaslit you.
And don't include any examples from me.
Yeah, speechless, huh? Can't think of anything.
Okay, Ari is not here yet. I actually don't know if Ari's going to be here. I'm assuming Ari will be, but... Oh, well, it's paying Ari and Code. I'm assuming... My assumption is Code is not going to be here. Well, let's see if Ari's going to be here, though.
Come on. You telling me Ari won't be here? That's insane. When was the last time you missed something? Intentionally.
Okay, this. And what else do we have here? All right, everything else is already posted. We got that.
A little bit clicking ASMR.
Up.
Always welcome.
That's not my clicking.
I know.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. I just find it funny.
Clicking circles.
Oh wait, where's a mist? Hold on, and a mist.
Of course.
That name.
I mean, this is the actual statement. I also don't like robot child.
$, robot child hater, $.
Of course. We're all in character, just a wee bit.
All right, it's fine. We got time anyways. We need the ads to go through, so. Oh boy. I did while I did all the reading, but I had also tried to I read it all digitally, but I had also tried to physically order the manga, and I ordered all of them, and they didn't come in until today, but I have them all.
Okay.
Physically in my hands.
At the same time.
Yeah, true. Because I had seen the first episode of the anime
so you're
before.
the murderer.
True. I'd seen the first
I think
episode
I've seen the
of
first
the anime before.
2 episodes.
There's the first episode pretty much covers the first volume, and I think
the second episode covers the second.
Yeah, because there's 8 volumes and then there's 8 episodes of the anime, so it probably just tracks like that.
That's interesting. They usually don't do that.
Like hour-long episodes. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it depends on.
Heard of this?
It depends on how many things are going on per volume for how they adapt the length of them. I think like something like the Flowers of Evil, that's like one volume takes up something like 2 episodes or something like that. I think. Like it depends on how much stuff you're showing and how much things are actually happening, I guess. I think with a lot of that was a lot of like, look at this very nice background, look at this very nice background, things like that.
How much fighting you have to pad out with actual animation.
Yeah.
Playing Navik's gonna blow up in 5 minutes.
True. All right, wait, let me... Where's my phone? Here's my phone. Did I forget to ping anybody else? We know Andy's busy with school stuff. Are we forgetting anybody else?
I think that's everyone.
I think we're good.
Oh, so for some reason Justin wanted in.
When's the last time Justin's wanted in? I don't remember.
Doro, I think.
Oh yeah, he was there at the beginning. Was he there at the end? I don't think he was there at the end, was he?
I think he was there at the end.
Oh, maybe he was. Maybe I'm just not remembering.
I asked him if he wanted it on this one. I don't think he said yes. He's also just really sick right now anyway.
Ah, gotcha.
Tell him to stop dying.
And Toronto's just gone radio silent again.
Turando's... I don't know what's going on with Turando's life, but he's busy doing something. He may show up in the future again. We appreciate him when he does show up.
Very insightful.
What else did you want from me? What did you want from me?
No, I'm saying Toronto's very insightful.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being sarcastic to me.
I was talking shit again. Come on,
No,
Jeff. I
he'd
would
never do that.
Yeah, this has never
When
happened
in the last
here.
time I've talked shit about you. Exactly.
Okay.
What's it called gaslighting anyway?
I think there's a story in like Victorian times of someone poisoning someone with like actual gas fumes or something.
Uh-huh.
Okay, maybe I'll leave us up here. I think we used to have our avatars be at the top anyways.
I think we did. Hold on, we gotta go back.
Well, I started trying to put it at the bottom because we were doing the PNG tubers for the Umineko things. And
oh yeah, the good old days.
And like it looked nicer with that, but you had to have them at the bottom of the screen in order for that to work. I am working through the ideas for, commissioning an actual anime book club like room for us, but I need to design it in a specific way, reference-wise, before I give it to like an actual background artist to come up with, because we need it to account for an unknown number of people who will show up, and we'll assume most, if not all of them, will have just the reactive Fugi fucking it lights up your Discord image meme, as opposed to like a PNG tuber or whatever. So it has to account for an unknown number of people. And we needed to look a little nice with how I place it out. And then it would also need to be able to show either 1 or 2 of the cover images for the manga we're discussing that week, and then background memes. There will be a reference to mer people somewhere. We have to have that. Have to include that.
Wall of shame.
You have to have the wall of shame. Probably like a bookshelf with like some titles that we've read so far on it. Some Umineko meme, and probably the Beatrice portrait somewhere.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. We'll come up with some memes with it.
Or there's like a closed door somewhere. The place, the whole room's like a closed room mystery.
No good. No good at all.
No good. Fujia's gotta be somewhere. We gotta have that. It's a foreign part.
Need some gyoza. That's what we need.
Well, then get some.
Hey,
Doesn't sound that hard.
why is nobody fucking reacting or responding or whatever? Everybody's dead? What is this shit? I don't know if we
Yeah, I
should just
killed
get
Ari.
started.
Sorry. I had enough of their shit.
I believe
Yeah,
it,
sorry,
actually.
I died.
I believe it.
Really?
It happens. You know, it happens. I'm surprised Amis isn't here, though. Where the fuck is Amis? He was like the most excited for this. Wait, why is my phone not doing the thing I told it to do? Phone, you're supposed to do the thing that I told you to do.
Stop yelling at the robots. They have feelings too.
Well, they don't.
I hear they're supposed to have rights and everything now. It's a whole thing.
They did laws about it.
Yeah. Do you know you have rights? Constitution says
Constitution says you do.
So do I.
And so do I.
That's kind of debatable right now.
What do you mean? Galaxy, come on, let it out. Don't just make out steam noises. You're not an exhaust
Dude.
pipe.
Shanna, we're talking about the state of American politics, which you don't pay attention to, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's real bad.
I'm something of a North American myself.
You can't just say that when you know that's not what you're saying.
I mean, I
You're
am
just
a
like,
North
I'm just like
American.
you, brothers. But like you're Canadian. It's like what bro is not on the same team. What is this?
Yes, I am.
Bro thinks he's on the
I mean,
team.
from what I know about Canadian politics, it's not that much longer before things will be similar.
Look, we don't have a prime minister currently. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. You guys at least have a president. We don't.
I don't know if that's a good thing for us though. I don't know.
There's pros and cons.
Maybe presidents shouldn't exist.
Well, then what do we do then? What's the replacement?
All right, well, Ari has confirmed that Coda is sleeping and Ari didn't read. Based.
Incredible.
Okay. I don't know where the fucking Mist is. If Mist shows up, he could just join in the middle. Let's just get started with the discussion for this week then, I think. Let me make sure there's no ads playing. Okay, no ads are playing, so we can go right into this. Let me take off pre-show and we'll get started. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of the Anime Book Club here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick all at the same time. You can find your links to all these things at wolfborg.com. Now, we are here to discuss the next series. Another short series is 8 volumes long. It's called PLUTO, which was highly recommended for us to read by a Mist, who's currently not here, but he may show up later. So before we get into the discussions, let's go into the guests that are here this week. In alphabetical order, as usual, by our names. We start with myself, Astroborg, a.k.a. Wolfborg, a.k.a. Chaplain, a.k.a. the best Anime Book Club host you've ever known and ever will known. I went and bought all of the PLUTO manga physically, and it arrived today, and I think the manga physically is very, very nice. So I would recommend buying this series physically if you can, if I were to give a recommendation, because I think it feels and looks and reads very nicely. So there you go. There's my little recommendation for this week. And next up we have Aztec. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aztec. I mostly watch anime, so this is weird for doing book club stuff. I don't have recommendations for anime. I will recommend Horizon Zero Dawn, because I'm playing that right now, and it involves killing robots.
Oh damn! I hear that's fucked up and against the law. I don't know.
They're gonna get you for that.
Yeah, you're going straight to jail.
Well, hold on. What kind of robots are you talking about here? Hold on.
They're like dinosaur robots. What was going
Dinosaurs.
on? Yeah.
I found the damn rights. I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Aztec. Next up, we have Detective Galaxy. Introduce yourself.
Hi, that's me. My name is Marianne, or Anne, whichever you prefer. My recommendation is going to be the album Future Human by Ethel Fordium, I think is her name. It's pretty good.
All right. Go check that out if you are interested in that. Anything else?
Nah.
All right. Next up, we have Robo Shino. Introduce yourself.
Yep. I'm Shino, and there's not a lot of girls in this, but I read it, so I'm here. And my recommendation is
Mood.
Negima, which has a lot of girls, so you should read that.
Sorry, what is it?
Negima.
Yes, this is true.
Just making a note.
We made a joke in the Discord. I had seen a post from my video editor in the past, Gumdrop, who retweeted a post from some other show called PLUTO, which the image of it appeared to be two lesbians. So I posted that in the server. I was like, huh, Pluto's looking a little different. So
What? No, they're just good friends.
oh, that's true. That's true. I think that's basically what happens. That's like spoilers for the rest of Pluto, actually. That's going to be the twist, yeah.
God damn it. Good enough.
Next up, Shadow Man V4. Introduce yourself.
I am Shadow. The thing I recommend is Mega Man X, the video game.
The video game specifically,
Yo,
nothing
that's
else.
pretty good.
Not the manga. You wouldn't recommend the manga?
No, I don't. The OVA exists.
All right, based. Sweet.
We might watch it one day. Who knows?
Who knows? Anything could happen.
If
Some
you really
things
like
are some things are
hours.
more likely than others to happen, though. You know, these are, you know, it could happen though. Thank you so much for that, Shadow. And again, Amiss is not here. Amiss may show up later. Koda's asleep. I don't even know if Koda did the reading. Ari has told us that they have not done the reading for this week, so Ari's not going to be here, and Andy's busy. So,
Coda's asleep. I don't think they did.
well, I mean, Koda might have
What
done
do
the
you
reading
think,
prior.
everyone?
Koda might have done the reading prior, but also I feel like Koda probably would have mentioned anything about it somewhere if she had done the reading, so probably not. Anyways, this is what we got for this week. So, let's begin our discussion about Pluto. So first of all, this is a little background for people listening who don't understand what the fuck Pluto is. It is, from what I understand, an arc of Astro Boy. Specifically, I think it was called the greatest robot arc or something. It was like greatest something. I'm trying to find it here. I can't immediately find it here. So it's based on an arc of Astro Boy, and you don't have to have consumed anything Astro Boy related in order to consume this, because it is Naoki Urasawa, who is the author of Monster and 20th Century Boys and a lot of other manga, who has adapted it into his own murder mystery sci-fi story, essentially. And I don't know anything about the original story, but from the little bits I had seen people describe about the original Astro Boy arc, it was like very short, so they recommended not reading that before you read the actual Pluto manga, because, you know, it's very short, it's going to be presented very differently, and obviously you're going to get spoilers for what happens towards the end of Pluto. So I was actually recommended from the things I saw to just consume Pluto first, and then you could check out the original as like bonus meme or whatever. So we have, from what I understand, a lot of details added to this. Most specifically, the fact that our protagonist in this is not actually Astro Boy. Our main protagonist in this is a German detective robot named, I'm going to see if I pronounce this right, Gesite, I think was how you were supposed to pronounce his name when I tried looking it up. It's like pronounced like, written like Geisi. Wait, here it is. Gesicht, which I think you're supposed to pronounce Gesite, I think. So whether or not I remember to pronounce it correctly throughout this whole podcast, or we just start calling him Mr. Detective, I don't fucking know. But anyways, that's how apparently that's our essentially our lead character. But our lead character is, you know, our lead character is a robot, but he's one of the 7 great robots. And actually, this story seems to be focusing on all the different 7 great robots and their impact on the world, both politically, influentially, as like celebrities, and also because they are starting to be murdered by unknown forces and or a killer, which is why our detective is on the case to try to figure out what is going on. It opens up with a whole forest burning down in the aftermath of a very beloved Swiss robot named Mont Blanc. Mont
Highest
Blanc.
mountain in Europe.
Mont Blanc.
What'd you say? Highest mountain in Europe?
Yeah.
Okay. So this beloved Swiss robot has been found dead in a fiery mess, and it appears to be the aftermath of a destructive battle to us, the reader. As far as the public knows, they were just like, oh, a tragic tornado must have touched down, and our hero has passed away or whatever. So it's a whole like tragic thing for them. But our detective knows about that case, but he's looking into a parallel case that's happening at the same time, in which human, they are like, how is it? It's humans that have been killed who are also robot rights activists within this world, who have been murdered, but it appears as if there is no trace of a human that could have committed the murders. As far as our genius detective robot can detect, which I'm assuming if this robot thinks it's fucking weird that he can't find any traces of anything, it's probably some funky means for us to either have hidden our what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, if this guy can't detect any kind of biological signs of like some human having committed this act in any way, shape, or form, it's probably, you know, there's nothing fucking there, because he's labeled as one of the greatest robots in the world. So it's probably because he's got some intensely good investigation skills when it comes to scanning for that shit. So he didn't find shit. So now the big question that keeps going around is, are these murders connected? The murders of the human rights activists and Mont Blanc, are they connected? And if they are, is it the same killer? And if they are the same killer, are they human or are they a robot? And the main way that we are hinted at that there is a connection is that these bodies are found with horns. It looks like horns are left. Some kind of symbolic thing is left to make their head look like they have horns on them, which is a whole thing that's explained to us later on by another killer robot that we talked to. But before we get into some of those details, let me just go through first and say how did we enjoy these 2 volumes? What was our opinions on these for this first week in general? Aztec, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it. I'm very much looking forward to reading the next parts.
Oh, hell yeah. Galaxy, what did you think?
I'm a bit torn. I think the writing is really strong, but there is a part of me that's just like, I just would like female characters to exist.
Well, we have one now, apparently, towards the end.
Kind of. It's like pretty. I mean, we're shown like one of the robots has
it's like a
longer hair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. We have like, I'm trying to think. We had like Jasite's wife, and then
there's the wife. There's the one robot wife who's more like robotic, but is very like feminine coded.
We've had 3 wives, and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why? Just so you couldn't tell.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. Sheena, what did you think?
+1 on the need more girl thing, but I think overall definitely enjoying it so far. Like, I think even though some characters kind of show up and then they die, like they're all quite compelling. So I like that part of it. I'm bad at mystery, so I'm just going with the flow on that part.
Oh damn!
What you're telling me is you'd be great at reading Umineko.
Oh boy, Umineko. This is just like Umineko, isn't it, guys? Listen, I'll talk about.
Echo's not a mystery though. It was magic.
You can figure out who the
It was
murderer
obviously
is by now,
magic, yeah.
actually.
This is
It's
true.
in
Was it
subtle
human
form.
or was it a robot?
Listen, Shadow, what did you think? What was your opinion?
So far, I'm interested. You know, I'm enjoying this a lot.
I think I let book club already know that I was like super hyped once I finished reading the first 2 volumes. I was like, I need book club to happen. I read this early in the week. I read it probably like Monday or Sunday, and I was like, I need book club to happen like soon, because I want to read more of it. And now I have it all physically next to me, and it's I need to know what's the next details. Listen, I really enjoyed it. It made me think a lot about Watchmen. If you guys have ever read Watchmen or seen the movie for Watchmen, where it is a detective. Well, would you call that one a detective? It's basically centered around its main central inciting action, whatever it is. Famous hero from hero group that is well known is murdered. And so it is like trying to solve like, okay, who is 1 capable of doing this, and 2, who would want to do this, and like 3, we dive into the politics surrounding these superhero members and what impact they have politically on the world, as well as being known as basically celebrities to the people, and then also getting into, you know, each of the other individual characters that were a part of that team, and whether or not they are also going to be targets. So I was thinking about that more directly while I was consuming this, and I fucking love Watchmen, so I also very much knew I was going to enjoy this from that kind of angle of it. But every single time we got to new AI robot characters and like the weird, interesting things that's going on with them, I was like locked in more and more and more. Like this shit was scratching all of my sci-fi itches, along with making it very interesting with its like political drama mystery stuff that was happening with it. I think it was a lot that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna say something?
Basically, just gonna second, like, I fucking love sci-fi, and it's been a while since I've had like a good sci-fi read. So that's really fun.
Have we had a sci-fi read before for book club? I'm trying to think. Other than, I guess, technically some. Could you consider Summertime Renderings memes towards the end sci-fi? I don't know, but I mean,
Land Illustrious count?
Geology, I guess. I
Oh,
don't...
yeah, hold on. You forgot the hit manga Mega Man X.
Oh yes, sorry. How could I forget Mega Man X, our favorite? But
They're
yeah,
critically acclaimed.
This is definitely like the most sci-fi traditionally, whereas like Mega Man sci-fi is more just like, I guess, like he's got shooting powers, I guess. I don't know.
It's more than a little Saturday morning cartoon.
Damn,
Yeah.
okay.
Sure, we'll go with that. So listen, the presentation of this is very straightforward with what's going on. You're never really confused, I think, for the most part, about things that are happening. You get it straight through. Whereas I think with like things with Summertime Rendering, with how it was presenting that mystery, we had like a lot of questions about like, you know, why people are acting in certain ways with that, and what role do these people have, and like what are the rules behind what's going on with this kind of thing. With this is more just straightforward, like, okay, this is a society in which we have robots that live with people. Many of them have AI capabilities to the point where we are now, you know, having robot rights activists arguing that the robots with these AIs implanted within them should be treated with their own, you know, rights and capabilities and freedoms, and should not be discriminated against in certain ways. And they do have certain rules programmed into them still, that they understand is strictly adhered to still by almost all of the systems, save for like one that they knew a case about in the past, where things like, you know, they cannot kill another human, no matter what. They're just incapable of doing it. But there was one case in the past where a robot did kill a human, which their name is Brow. Okay, here it is. 1589. It was like a very specific like model number. And this was the first robot to ever kill a human, and I think it was something like 8 years before the events of our story.
Five?
Maybe 8, 5. So it was like years before the actual story began. So we're seeing the world through the eyes of a robot detective, and we are experiencing firsthand through him how, you know, like other detectives are like, all right, well, you're a cop like us, but you're one of them robot cops. I'm not. One of your kind probably did this fucking crime, so, you know, I'm looking down on you and shit like that. We had like generic other detective guy who was just like, yeah, whatever, this fucking robot guy is trying to solve this stuff, whatever. He's got this fancy schmancy tech, but he just don't get the heart of humanity and shit like that. I don't know. It was
like
very.
The type of guy I'll forget about.
He forgot the heart.
Yeah, he forgot the heart. True, just like Mineko.
This was Mineko the whole time.
Yeah. Gisite is, how would I describe him? Not fun at parties. He seems like he's just like, he's like, okay,
He's
honey,
very
I'm
nondescript.
Yeah, he's like, honey, I'm home. Would you like to go on a trip to Japan at some point? That would be nice, wouldn't it, honey? All right, I am off to work now. And then he goes off to work, and he's like, very much like cold, calculating for like his job focused meme. But like
Also,
he's very leaning into how they characterize robots overall, which is just like imitating the things that humans do without necessarily understanding them, or at least that's how they're understanding why they're doing the things they're doing.
Yeah, because we have several scenes where, like, when he talks with Adam, and Adam's like, Adam to Decide, they have like a whole moment where he's just in shock towards like Adam as like a robot, because Adam is the most human-like of them, it seems. They're like very oh, welcome, miss. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, miss. Introduce yourself real quick.
Sure, real quick. My name's Amidst None. Usually do lots of music, usually engineering or some form of production, but between everything, I read too much, and I'm excited to be here for one of my favorite series of all time.
Tell us about your history experiencing Pluto in the past. When did you first experience Pluto?
I first read Pluto back, I want to say it's now going to be 11 years. This was around 2013, 2014. I think I had just accessed a laptop and like had access to more digital mangas and stuff. I also had like, I kind of also was kind of familiar with both Urasawa's and Tezuka's work separately. Like already I was a huge fan of Monster. Already I was a huge fan of like Astro Boy, and I think at the time I had just started reading Buddha by Tezuka. So like, you know, going into this and then the back of the book saying collaboration with Tezuka and Urasawa, I was like, holy shit, right? So Pluto is this manga, I think, that really kind of encapsulates sort of how much it shaped like my sort of outlook on storytelling in this medium. I would say between this, Berserk, and Vagabond were always like the trio of like, depends on what day you ask me which one's my favorite, you know?
Right, yeah. So, okay, quick question for you, because I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. How do you pronounce the detective guy's name? Because I'm assuming it's pronounced Gisite, but I don't know if that's correct.
I think in the anime it's Gersault.
Gersault, okay.
Yeah, like, you know how like Nier had like Gersault and Replicant. So I think it's kind of like that, but that's good. I mean, at least to my knowledge, that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
I was yeah, there's a lot yeah. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying to them that when I was reading this, I was hooked in immediately, but I was also thinking a lot of the time while I was reading this, I was thinking about Watchmen. the whole time I was reading it, and like the parallels it has to me for like the kind of narrative it's telling. You know, superhero team, series of murders seems to start happening related to them, and it's like focusing on like their political connections and like influence as like celebrities, and also like their historical because that had a thing too. Watchmen had like a whole thing where they were literally, the superheroes are fighting in the war, and here we have entire scenes where it's like these super robots were like the way that we turn the tides of like the war. What did they call it? The 49th Central Asian War or some shit?
39th.
39th? Like
39?
I don't.
I thought it was 39.
39, 49.
I might
Either
be
way,
wrong.
it's like a number. Okay, it's like a big number for
The
that.
totally not the Iraq War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no, I was gonna say, like, I mean, I think it's a fair, like, sort of comparison where I think, well, I think it was kind of, and I have to find the interviews, but even when looking back then, like, it did seem like Urasawa was taking more from Blade Runner's sort of setup.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I know is a sort of trope. I mean, that sort of plotline starter is kind of pretty common in detective novels. But I think he's specifically taking from Blade Runner, where you have a known replicant searching for other replicants who were part of a war being picked off.
Right.
And then we get into sort of Philip K. Dick's sort of philosophies of consciousness and agencies.
Yeah.
Where Pluto, especially in these first two novels, you have these great setups of already like sort of the state of the world during a false peace. Essentially, the endless wars of first world countries having machines fight their battles for resources.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, and I think that's what's really cool. That's why I love the first two volumes, because like there's so much heart put into already the, like the first victim is the most beloved out of the entire group.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't know if it was because, you know, I kept making the Watchmen connection, or if it was because Umineko has like been twisting my views on like murder mystery narratives or whatever. The whole time I'm just like, oh, everybody's mentioning every 5 seconds about how much Mont Blanc was like a hero. Everybody loved Mont Blanc. I'm like, this guy did some fucked up shit. Probably.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and then we get to the scenes where it's like them talking with the other robots in the middle of the war, being like, I just killed a shit ton of other robots, and it's like a lot. We are fighting these wars for them or whatever. And then we had like later on one of them going to fight, and we don't see what happens, and then it's like, okay, well now he's dead, I guess. And then Umineko has been making me think like, okay, but are they actually dead though, or are they actually the killer? What's going on here? I don't know. Like, and this is literally just Umineko is directly influencing me to be like, okay, what's the twist here? What's the twist? Mont Blanc was an asshole, wasn't he? Was Mont Blanc actually the killer? What's going on here? Is it all three of those people, Mont Blanc, Hercules, and Brando, just doing some shit? What's going on?
I mean, it is mystery fiction, so that is the right way to be going about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's off. Yeah,
I think so. The clues that we're told, the main clues about who the killer could be. Well, I mean, because the big question is whether or not the killer is a robot or if they're human. Because we know that the robots are not supposed to be able to kill humans, although we had one case in the past where they have been able to. And when we talked with this robot, very, very interesting scenes with the killer robot when we talked to him. But more so eye-opening than the talks with the robot is the fact that all the scientists say every time they looked at the AI for this robot, they say they didn't find any defects. And when Adam goes to talk to one of the scientists about it, they essentially, it sounded like they came to the conclusion that the scientists were saying their AI was too perfect to the point where their AI was like the most human, giving us the implication that the most human instinct is just to murder.
I took a slightly different message from that.
Yeah, what was your message that you
Like-
took from that?
I felt like the implication was that like a perfect AI is basically a human, and telling a human they can't do something is like not an actual restriction.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, we're all told we can't kill people, and I am assuming none of us have killed people, but you know,
have to buy
Assuming.
into the restriction being told in order for the restriction to mean anything.
yeah, like at some point, if you're human enough, you can just decide to do it anyway.
Yeah, just a little murder as a treat. As a treat.
You Americans and your murder. I swear to
If
God.
everyone agrees, the truth can be anything.
This is true.
Even
This is
murder.
true. Very, very interesting scenes when he goes to talk to that robot is like, it's not even like this
Yeah.
robot is like kept in a very highly. It seemed like he has something sticking through him, trapping him in that some building somewhere, and then they just have a guard like 1 or 2 floors above where he's at or something. And he's like, yeah,
I think
okay,
it
you can
was
go
a
see
lamp.
him. We have like
was stuck in
some something is just stuck with him that's like holding him there. And if they take that out, they said he'd
He
probably die, but they're just too scared of getting anywhere near him. And I think the guard
The entire
even said,
setup's hilarious, honestly. They've got like concrete anti-tank bollards and
Yeah.
shit set up all around him. He's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
supposedly killed several people, even being pinned to the floor.
The fucking
been
like
spaghetti fight.
radiation suits.
Yeah. So I these are all cool points. I think for me, like, I really do enjoy, like, already one of my favorite introductions of a character ever is he was so powerful they had to dismantle him and force him in a hole.
yeah,
Like that's his deal. Like he was the most dangerous one, and he'll forever have. It's like in Evangelion, the Lance of Longinus, right?
right, yeah,
Because at the time he saw himself as a savior. He was like, because the sentience of, and he brings up the concepts of how, like, what's the difference between, because all memory like all chips and processors are based off the process of our brains.
right,
And the idea he even said was, well, what's the difference between the brain of a president that's of flesh than of one that is just programming, if he's going to keep making the same decisions regardless of his material?
right.
What's the
Which-
difference?
Which were we? I was trying to understand if I understood this. Were we given hints that the president was essentially being shadow controlled by
Yeah.
a massive
Yes.
AI thing? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a teddy bear in like an underground room in front of a giant supercomputer. And there's the same teddy bear behind the president.
As he's like doing a press conference thing or something. We just have the teddy
Yeah.
bear there, you know.
Yeah, so if I recall, there's that, and it's also like, yeah, if they're all puppets to a machine, then how human are they? I think was sort of what he's implying, which is like another reference to Philip K. Dick's Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, of like the powers that be are just more electricity on legs or limbs. And no, again, like the way they just put everything together, I just love that scene so much. Yeah, with him in the with the lance in his fucking
Yep.
chest, like it's so
Yep.
good.
Yeah,
It felt very sort of my brain's pulling in like 2 directions here, but I think the more relevant one is that it feels very like eldritch horror. Seal the evil away so that we can just stop thinking about it, and as long as we don't think about it, then it can't hurt us.
Yeah,
just leave him there. We just won't think about it. We'll have
Leave him
some
spaghetti fight.
some old guy will just keep a log of who wants to go and talk to him, I guess. We'll just leave him there otherwise.
Yeah, that
Eventually,
old guy will be fine, right?
yeah, he'll be fine. He knows not to go near the thing, so, he'll figure it out. So, okay. The 7 robots, I think, do we know all 7? I think we know all. Let me do a count here. So we have Gersite, who is our detective, our German detective. We have Adam, who Astro Boy, that's a Japanese robot. We have Brando, who was he Turkish?
I think Turkish.
He was like one of the fighter bros that they had. Him and Hercules get into, what are they called? Pankertrons or something? Panker somethings?
Yeah. Something like that.
They get into basically like armor suits, and they do like world wrestling, or they do like the wrestling stuff for like big audiences, pro wrestling memes in like big suits.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so it was Brando and Hercules, and then you also had North number 2, which we get a whole little mini story
I forgot about North number 2.
Which I love that little mini story about North number 2.
So good.
It was so good.
It's really good.
And then the other one that we were shown towards the end was, what is her name? Uran or something? Something?
Yeah. The sister,
Yeah. So I think that makes 6, or does that make 7?
I will say it might be fun, like when you see these characters, to look at their original designs.
Oh, and Mont Blanc
from the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. I was told. Okay. I'm sorry. You go first, and then I'll ask a question to you.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think what's kind of cool is like they do an interesting balance with them, where they kind of like what you're exposed to is like their human forms before like the more inspired designs of the
Right.
like more harkening back to the original designs.
I was told the original arc that this is adapted from is actually very short, and that we've had a lot more stuff being added towards this. Is this true? How accurate is this?
Yeah, Pluto was just like a kind of one-off villain. And it was a case of like they wrote a character to be so strong that would actually ruin the rest of the episodic series. And it's another
Power
case
scaling.
of like, if you, dude, 70s power scaling. Yeah. I will say, like, what's kind of crazy is like, if you, even if you are familiar with Pluto, there are a couple retcons between 63 versus the 40th anniversary series 2003, the Rise of Pluto, which is like a whole separate OVA series. But it's interesting, like it's this weird hybrid at the start, but then it ends up sort of going its own direction, like you said. Then it starts adding these new concepts and ideas for both what they are to like the role of Adam, and then what they are to the implications of what, like you said, the sort of, these are all essentially like veterans of war, and sort of like what he represents in regards to like veterans trying to adjust back to a society that expects too much of them.
Right. I remember when I was reading through this, and then I had seen online people basically saying the original arc was like very short, and then there was a lot of details added. I remember then once I was done reading the manga, there was like little interviews in the back with Urasawa and Tezuka's, was this Tezuka's son or Tezuka's grandson, or who was the other person that was in the interview?
Oh, in the postscript. Yeah, I think it was
let me see here. Oh yeah, it was his son. Yeah, because he's saying, I grew up watching my father draw his manga, Makoto Tezuka. It's like Naoki was basically just saying like, oh yeah, so when I was working on this, there was like many times where I wrote my story, and then I looked back towards what the original story was, and I was like, I guess I just really loved this story so much that I just added in a whole bunch of plot points that weren't actually there in my head growing up, because he was like, I loved this arc so much as a kid that I just kept like, exploring the ideas of this arc in my head growing up. And then eventually, like, many of the details that I thought were in the original were not actually in the original. They were just the natural expansions of how I would tell the story. And I'm very excited for, I don't want to do it now because of any potential spoilers it would do, but I'm excited to, once I'm done with this, check out what the original arc was like. To compare it. That would be very interesting, and I might do that for like when we do our final stream about this.
100%. I think it's worth it.
Because I don't think I've ever read the original Astro Boy manga. I think I've seen one episode of Astro Boy once, because I think it was included in the big list of Christmas episodes that we had that I kept playing for the Christmas event last year. Because I think that one had one episode that had that. But yeah, I never read the manga, so it'd be very interesting to check that out. Okay. Mont Blanc, okay. Very beloved Swiss robot, found dead in a fiery mess. Looks like the aftermath of a massive battle. They're describing the hints that we're being told for the deaths are that there's no trace left behind for the human deaths involved. And the places are typically destroyed. And then in the robots' cases and in the humans' cases, there are reports that a tornado had appeared, which we sort of see parts of when it came to the Brando fights and the North number 2 fights, of like some kind of weather thing happening, which had the visuals of something with horns fighting them. And then the other hints that we know that these murders are connected is, again, the remaining heads or remaining body parts. There's like some kind of horn symbolism that's left over, which I believe Brow later explains that horns are a symbol of like death, or gods of death, or like demons or whatever. And we get to talking about eventually the connection towards Pluto as a concept of I believe it was described as a god of death. I don't actually know about.
I think it was Greek or Roman.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Pluto as like a mythological thing. I've only ever known Pluto as like the name of a planet, so I don't know.
They
too
named
much.
the gods after the planets, so that's
Right.
how they did it.
Okay. Yeah, and then we're seeing like literally entire. Again, when I say I'm sus on Mont Blanc, it's because like we open with like all these documentaries about how beautiful his life was, how influential and how beloved he was by everybody. And literally they're just like, yeah, detective, everybody working on this monument for him, they're all volunteers, okay? We're all volunteer workers building this huge thing for his memorial thing because everybody and their mom loved Mont Blanc. And I'm just like, okay, well, what did he do? What happened? Are they gonna what has happened with him? I'm sus on that, but I don't know if that will actually be a thing that will be an issue. But we do again get the confirmation about those three in the war. Now, when we meet Adam, our detective just kind of meets up with Adam, has talks with them to try to see their input on these cases, and also to warn him about the impending targeting of the greatest robots, of which Adam is, of course, one. And so they change memory chips, which is a thing that was hinted at that they could do with Rao as well, which obviously don't want to trade memory chips with the serial killer robot, at first at least. Probably not a good idea. So he was very hesitant to do so, and then he did it with Adam, because Adam's more trusted. But something weird's going on with Gusait's memory. It sounded like he went to some training trip somewhere at some points, and him and his wife's memories were potentially altered to hide whatever actually happened during this trip. So I'm thinking we may have sleeper agent Gusait going on here. Something happened there with that. Not, and we're basically told directly with like a scene with somebody else talking to a scientist who's just like, "Did you do something to him?" And he's like, "We did what we had to." Okay, it's like, okay,
we put so much money into them.
Look, he's basically a walking nuke. We need him to be on our side, no matter what.
Yeah, it's like, listen, if we can trick him to go to training, and then he's our sleeper agent nuke, we'll do that. The reason why these 7 are so significant, because like you said, they're treated as basically walking nukes, and we are not allowing other nations anymore to create new iterations of this level of AI robots at this point because of the dangerous nature they could hold, I guess, which was one of the driving forces towards the war that we keep seeing the images of, where they're trying. What was the story? It was like they had believed the Persian Empire was like hoarding a shit ton of walking nuke androids, and so the United Nations changed the law to say that's not allowed anymore, and then immediately invaded them to get rid of them all. And then they were just like, oh, we don't got any here. And then they go into like a basement and there's like 1 million dead fucking droids in there. Which I don't know what the implication of that millions of dead droids is supposed to mean. Were they all of the superpowered AI ones? What's the difference between the superpowered AIs and like the regular droids? So some of those bits were a little bit like, maybe it's because I, again, no experience with Astro Boy. I don't know what the general difference is supposed to be, because the only real difference I've seen is the difference between someone like Gasite and someone like the robot wife of the other robot cop that died. Yeah, go on.
Gasite's wife is a robot, right?
Yes.
I don't think that's ever like confirmed or denied at this point.
That's true.
I always compared the robot, like you said, compared to the advancements of them. I compare that to like in Disney where Pluto's a dog and Goofy's a dog. So Pluto, it has a leash on and only other people as a pet.
Okay, all right.
And Goofy is a sentient animal that pays taxes and got divorced and gave birth to Matt.
It happens. It happens.
Like cost of sentience, taxes.
We're gonna talk about it. Like we're gonna have to talk about that. Yeah.
Divorce.
I guess I was kind of wondering. It's like, so in that case, it's like a software difference, and they don't have like backups in their future Git repo as to how to do this again, or it's like there's some extra sauce that just comes along and adds like a soul or something like that.
You got Windows 89 and Windows 11.
To all that, which are great points, we're gonna have to keep reading.
Okay. Oh, you see, he said tune in next time on Pluto to find out. Oh my God. So
I guess my question there is there really a difference?
My assumption at this point is it's probably all the consciousness discussions, the concern over how sophisticated the AIs are to the point where we don't want them to get like another brow situation potentially. Maybe. So the difference would be just the levels of wanting to consciously think about things other than what you're being told to for your job, essentially. Maybe. I don't know. That would be my guess at this point, is if you essentially are a robot with an AI that's capable of making its own individual decisions for things, they probably consider that as its own thing. But then if you have that plus more superpowered capabilities that are like you are specifically trained to do more advanced analysis of certain things, that's where it gets to be too much for them, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Because my thought at this point is like, this isn't so much the difference between the types of AI, but there's very much an emphasis in the first 2 volumes on showing the characters as believing in this dichotomy between humans and AI, and then showing that dichotomy to be absolutely false.
Right.
So
because that was like
it wouldn't surprise me if it's kind of doing the same thing with like the other quote unquote lesser AIs as well. And like there isn't actually a difference. People just have decided that there is one.
Right.
Which ties into all of the stuff about like the Iraq War and why war happens and all of those like big picture themes.
Yeah.
But,
Now, chap, are you telling me there were no weapons of mass destruction?
There were at least 7 in that country, actually.
Are you telling me that Are you telling me?
Hey, the survey group
Nothing
said they
was there?
didn't find anything, so you know.
Oh yeah.
If the survey
You're
group
saying
says
the
so,
government lied to us?
nah,
Are
listen.
you telling
They
me?
found a lot of dead bodies, but they don't know if they were super nuke bodies. You know, I mean,
Wait, no. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
You
that
know what?
didn't
You're
happen.
right. The
Yeah,
government would never lie to me specifically.
Oh my god. That reminded me of a movie quote that always kills me, where it was like, fucking, there was that shitty Alien versus Predator Requiem, and there's a scene where like the government's gonna nuke the city because the aliens are too strong, and then one of the teenage characters goes, "But the government will never lie to me."
they would
I was
never.
like, someone's proud of that. Someone's
They
proud
would.
of that.
They would
that writing.
never. And this whole
Also,
themes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, what was that? Say that again?
I was gonna say to potentially clear things up for anybody who watches this and doesn't read it for reasons. Every time we say walking nuke, they're not actual nukes. They're referred to as weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
They're just really good at killing. They probably can't actually blow up a city.
Yet.
Right.
Unless
Not. Yeah. We're
We
working.
gotta
The
keep
lab boys are
reading.
working on it. The U.S. president is working on that. I'm sorry. Not the. They don't call them the
We could-
United States here, right? They call them the United something else.
it's like the
What do they call
United
them?
States of Farsia or something.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not
It
America.
replaces
It's
America,
Farsia.
I think.
America at home.
Something like that.
You're
we
right.
have America at home.
San Francisco.
San
Canada.
Francisco. Canada, my favorite Astro Boy plays.
It's America
So-
at home.
The core, you know, the bit about what you were describing about the conceptions around that humans have towards robots and then proving that to not be true. That's like the big whole point about North Number 2's whole little sub thing going on, the subplot going on with the North Number 2 backstory, which was all just to tell us that he died. That was just another great robot that died, unfortunately, because North Number 2 was awesome, I think.
Yeah, that General Grievous looking motherfucker.
Yeah,
I did love that story.
Yo, he killed the
That
shit
bit was
out of him.
really good.
So that story was about, I don't remember the old man's name, but there's an old man who was like an old composer. He's blind, but he's still a very famous, very rich composer who lives in like a mansion or castle or something like that. Specifically, it used to be owned by some rich man who like he fucking hated, I guess, and he made so much money that he bought the castle and said "fuck you" to that guy and his life or
Paul
whatever.
Duncan.
Yeah. So he, Paul Duncan, you said his name is right. So Paul Duncan, is a composer, old man who, is trying to figure out things on the piano himself for like a song he's working out. He's got a whole bunch of artificial music making instruments in his place that I'm assuming were just sent to him by producer people trying to get him to do things, and he's just like, all this shit is fake ass shit, none of this is real shit. I just want to make real music, but specifically I want to make something specifically for me right now. I don't really want to get involved with the music deal. I want to make something new for me or whatever. And he sent North Number 2 as a new robot assistant to help him take care of himself, because again, he's just blind and living in this place alone. So the robot is meant to help him day to day, to feed him, to take care of the garden, take care of the house and all that kind of stuff, and then do whatever else is required of him. And North Number 2 is one of the great robots, one of the 7 greats, who was also involved in the war, and he wears this big ass cape covering everything, or robe or whatever, that's just concealing all the many General Grievous guns that we got going on underneath, I think. And you know, again, the guy's blind, so he's not really going to see it anyways, but it's still, the old man is a piece of shit throughout to this robot the entire time. Cranky old man, piece of shit to him, where he's just like, oh, were you in the war? Oh, how many people did you kill? Oh yeah, you're a robot. You can't kill people. How many robots did you kill? Yeah, you fucking freak. Yeah, how many fucking guns you got on those robes? Probably. I can't even see them. I know you got some fucked up shit on there probably. And it's like, Jesus, bro, you gotta calm down. And every time the robot's like, I would just like to help you, and he's just like, I don't need your robot help, piece of shit. What do you know about life and all that? You're just a murdering heartless robot, I guess. And I think North number 2 is just like, I would like to like make you stop being a miserable piece of shit. You seem to be having trouble with this music, but I hear you humming it in your sleep. Perhaps I could play the piano of what you were doing. And he's like, don't fucking touch my shit. Okay, you don't understand how music works. You'll never understand it because you're a goddamn robot. All you do is pretend to understand these things. But only us humans can actually understand it. Which that mixed with also the scenes with Jasite looking at Adam eating and just being so impressed at his capability to like pretend so much. Whereas Adam's just like, I just really enjoy this stuff. Like it's like, to a certain extent with some humans, many of them, I always felt this is like the thoughts that were going through my head when I'm reading these things about like the concepts of these robots are just mimicking actions to try to fit in with the society or whatever. I mean, I feel like a lot of humans definitely do that too, where they don't fully understand a certain thing, but they will attempt to, you know, get used to it, and maybe they don't fully appreciate it at first, but if, you know, you give them some time to do it, maybe they do have a better understanding of how it's supposed to work. Which is why, like, North number 2 kept being like, I would like to learn piano. Can you teach me piano? Can I please learn how to play piano? And the composer dude is just like, no, you're just gonna be like, you're not gonna actually be learning because you're just gonna be faking it the whole time, or you're not gonna understand. But it's like he wants to learn the process of essentially how humans make music. Essentially, it was how I took away from that, so that he could interpret music in his own way. But it's one of those things that gets tricky when you're trying to think about it, because it's like, what are certain things that you are not just simply trying to mimic at first, and then gaining a better appreciation towards later on. Like, there's not many things that you're not just like mimicking at first, I think, when I was trying to think it through. It's because this is definitely one of the questions I think that's presented as the themes with this series. I don't know, what were your thoughts on it, Miss? You sound like you have some thoughts.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite stories ever. Like, yeah, no, it's cool where it's like, and those are totally like fair points about it. What I thought was kind of cool with Paul is like, it's more, I think it's more hinted at in the manga than in the anime, where like Paul's awareness of that he as a child had an illness, and it's implied that the doctor that he got the surgery from for his illness was from Blackjack, another Tezuka character.
Yep.
Just Dr. Blackjack. But yeah, I think it's also another interesting thing of like, we carry our feelings farther than our visual memories. Like, we carry more of how it made us felt, usually more than what we remember the visuals and the smell, or like the other senses. And Paul's a great example of like, and again, like, it's just a beautifully well done, where Paul's clearly like blocking out certain aspects of his memories. And just like in real life, like, he is so caught up in the worst parts of it, where he forgets the appreciation and the sacrifices, you know, his mother made for him to be there.
Because his whole thing is like, he's just obsessed over the idea that his mother had abandoned him growing up. He had believed his mother had abandoned him growing up to basically go sleep with rich mob type dude from wherever they grew up from.
I think.
Was what?
Bohemia? I want to say.
Bohemia, probably, yeah.
Bohemia.
So, like, he had assumed he was basically just abandoned, and then he got an illness, and then he was prevented from dying through the treatments, but it was what basically was going to cause him to go blind, which is why he spent the remainder of his time learning as much as he could about music before he lost his eyesight, and then he went on to become an amazing composer, and then he made so much that he was able to buy essentially the land that the person who fucked over his life essentially just take the land from him, and then just to spite him and his mom or whatever. But he's carried the hate towards his mom all these years for abandoning him for all that, and he keeps humming this tune that what was it, like his mom used to sing with him or something like that. And
yeah,
North number 2 eventually just leaves for a bit, and Paul thinks that, like, oh, he left because I kept saying you're fired or whatever. He finally actually left. Thank God that guy's out of the goddamn house. That stupid robot that's been annoying my life. But then the whole time that he's gone, he's just like, okay, but where is he though? Where's everybody? I'm just all alone now. And then, like, man, he tried to have a phone call with somebody about a new project with music involved in it from him, and they're just like, no, we don't want any of your new music. We just want your old stuff. We really think that we only want the times that you had before. We don't care about your new stuff. And he was just like, well, fuck you. I don't care about this shit anymore. And it was like, damn. He's just like, I don't get to do anything anymore. I can make new music. Nobody's gonna give a shit. I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think what I kind of appreciate during the final confrontation with when North like comes back, when with as the mansion is deteriorating and everything. I think one quote that always got me, especially rereading this, made me appreciate it more, where he says, Duncan says, "How dare you get involved in my nightmares? There are some things we humans want to forget." And then North explains, your dream is not a nightmare. But it's not like my nightmares, because it's nothing that you should want to erase, sir. And I think I kind of thought about that a lot, especially like being this young guy, like right out of high school. And this sort of idea of like, there's a difference between what we want to forget and what we wish we can take back.
Yeah.
There's a difference of like, it's really not him being like, oh, I want to forget the bad things that happened to me. It's more like he wants back his mom. And
yeah.
And I think what I really appreciate I like the anime version of this scene a lot more, because they do such a great job, like in the effects department and in the audio department, of when he sings the lullaby. He's singing. It's a cool Easter egg where the lullaby he's singing is from the original TV show.
Oh, okay.
His old theme, because it's so crazy, because like Mark II is has such an emotional story, but in the original he's such a nothing jobber. So it was such a I think it's also like because it was another anniversary of Tezuka's legacy and pro-environmental movement, that I don't know, seeing an anime, like it made me have this interesting closure, I think, with this, where I was getting this perspective, especially when we get older, and it is more like these things happen to you and you can only like push it away so long, and I think that's kind of what I appreciate the most about this story, because especially at the end, yeah, like you said, like God, yeah, when he sits there waiting for him to come back for his piano lessons.
Yep. Oh yeah,
It's like
man.
the most humanity you see from
Man, that shit fucked me up. Because they finally had their connection. I mean, you already knew that they were getting close a little bit in times, but like they still had their drama together. And then he left for a while, and then when he came back, and he was like, "I've discovered the truth about the history of your mom. She was trying to was going with him in order to send you to a place and get the money for your surgery, and like you can be taken care of in the boarding school or whatever, hopefully, but." Essentially she was being fucked over in this situation or something like that, but she had basically given up her life and everything in order to try to make a good life for her son. through shady deals with this guy, and if I'm remembering the story right, is that correct?
Yeah, she sought out Jonathan Thorne, who's another character from Blackjack,
Okay.
to connect the black market doctor Blackjack from Japan, and then there was and then that's when it's revealed that she would hold his hand. The memory of right before he goes into surgery, before he loses his sight, is him and her in the meadows while she holds his hand, singing that song.
Yeah. So it's a whole emotional moment where he's like, "All right, it's time for a piano lesson. Let's. It's time to teach you some piano here. We'll have a nice little time." And he's like, "Well, I'd love to, sir, but there's something approaching. I have to go check this out real quick. Don't worry, I'll be right back." He did not. He was not right back. He was not.
And the shot of him in the sky is the exact same way he gets destroyed in the manga in the 63.
Oh damn, Jesus.
Because that's always his fate. Like I said, he's the jobber machine, regardless.
Yep. And it's just the old man just saying, "Oh, my melody. That's what's playing. Please
He's
hurry
feeling
back,
the-
North number 2. It's time for our piano lesson. Can't be late for that."
Yeah.
And it's like, man, bro. Man, it was such a nice little story. Like, just in the middle of everything else interesting that's happening with this.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro. Okay, I have a very quick question. We don't have to get too long into it, but all of these characters, the 7 great robots or whatever, I know Astro Boy is obviously an Astro Boy, I would hope so, but these other robots, are they also characters within Astro Boy prior to the events of Pluto?
Yes.
Or are they, okay. Because I didn't know if they
All
were
of them.
just like introduced and then some of them killed just immediately in Pluto, or if all of them played an important role prior. So
sorry.
I was just gonna say, because if it's the case that these were all like integral characters that were introduced, and now like 3 of them have been killed immediately with the introduction of a new character for like a mini arc in the larger scope of Astro Boy, I would be like, bro, what the fuck?
So yeah, no, I think that's definitely a fair question because, yeah, definitely the treatment, especially in the anime, how like they're kind of sort of framed as like having these clearly massive amounts of history with each other, and like you said, with Urasawa's sort of takeaway from the greatest robot in the world, which is the name of the arc, and it's just 2 episodes from the original series. The only ones I know have direct relations is, well, he's called North Mark II, but in the original manga, he's Monar. Well, in English, he was called Monar.
Manar,
North 2,
okay.
I think, is just the original Japanese name they commit to. But yeah, so the only connection they quickly have is with Mont Blanc and Brando, because in the original run, they both have like, they're both made by the same creator, so they're both like derivative of Scottish scientists, at least in the older one.
Right.
In terms, yeah, so man, again, this is really fun where it's like you see the original designs and see where they are now, and you're like, that's Brando. That's him. Where Brando in the original is like this giant, the biggest hulking. Like, do you remember fucking what's his name from Futurama? The My Leg Feel Funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
that character robot is based off Brando. It's
oh,
based off.
okay. based.
My Leg Feel Funny. So it's just great to see Brando as like this hardcore Turkish buff man, and then in the original he's this goofy giant robot with spikes.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love the way they do it so much.
Which does get us into talking about Brando and Hercules and their roles in the story here, because we go from the North number 2 focus to then, well, Gesite talks with Adam for a bit too, but then a lot of it seems to focus on like what happened with Brando and all of them in the past, and how the Central Asian War, like the history of that, is connected somehow to the current events that are happening, or seem to be currently happening. So we see like Mont Blanc, Brando, and Hercules in the battlefields of the war, counting the number of kills that they had of other robots. Adam is just like walking around looking like the face of peace as they're murdering all these like robots and shit. It's like a destroyed battlefield, and then they just look at Adam just waving to the crowd, and they're just, well, I guess he gets to be the nice little face of a democracy coming to free everything here, or
Democracy wins again.
Democracy. Don't worry, everybody. Democracy's here, and so the connection I think that was established between why there are like humans that are also being murdered at the same time of each of the other deaths, appears to be that they are connected to the war as well, in that they all appear to be people who were a part of the survey group that was meant to go determine whether or not they did have the WMD like robots hanging around in Persia. And that group didn't claim to have not found anything. But now members of the group are being killed. I believe we established that because we looked at the wreckage of one of them, saw that there was either a card or there was like ink or whatever. They tried to write something on a card or something like that. And we eventually figured out that it was related to a series of names within some record or file or something, that these were all just people who were a part of a survey group, I think. Some of the details of it, I don't exactly remember all of with that kind of stuff, but essentially the gist I got of it was that the humans were involved with the war, in terms of like trying to determine some critical detail of the war. That mixed with the talks between Mont Blanc, Hercules, and Brando about vengeance and all that, makes me think that like perhaps all these killings are just like a vengeance-driven thing related to someone who lived from the war, but like saw the aftermath of everything that happened in the war. Or I had wondered if PLUTO itself was like some team effort from Mont Blanc, Brando, and Hercules, and that they're just like making it look like they're being killed, but actually they're just going around to kill the humans that were involved with it. That was a theory I had, but then North Number 2 also got killed, so I don't know how that holds.
No, he's also in on it. Don't worry.
Our boy North Number 2 is in on it. Maybe it's one of those deals where they had to kill him because he would snitch on them. So they had to take him out, or maybe he did some things that they thought were horrific. So they just were like, all right, we gotta kill the humans, but we gotta kill this guy. This guy was especially an asshole. But then Brando's whole thing, when we were introduced to Brando, they're just like, hey, Gasai, you want to come to my house, hang out? Oh, this is my family of like 30 fucking kids. Here's my wife who like is very like, we have a nice loving family here. We're very
Isn't
crazy.
It gonna be super tragic when I die?
Yeah, it's going to be very tragic, right? Did I say we were going to the zoo today? Oh, sorry. Was it a zoo? I don't remember. He was like, oh, I promised we were going to go to this thing. Well, sorry, I have to go do a thing for work. I got a work thing. I can't get out of it. Anyways, I'm going to go fight the clouds now. I'm like,
We're going to fight the wind.
He specifically went out of his way to go pick up his armor suit. And then he went to a specific location. And then he was like, all right, I'm going to go fight the clouds, guys. We have open comms to all the other robots at the same time now. Which I didn't realize was a thing we could just do before. All the robots, the great robots, can just talk to each other, I guess. So we're patching in, and I'm gonna go fight the clouds. And they're like, wait, no, we gotta go save him. Hold on, we're like several countries away. How do we get there? Quick. Like, how were they all supposed to be within the same area, or were they literally like countries apart? What was going on with this? It made it sound like that, even though, because I know a lot of this is trying to be like, this is like in England, this is like in Switzerland, this is like in Germany, this is like, you know, all these European areas, and I'm just like, are we acting like each country is like down the street from each other? How far away are we from all these things? And apparently Japan's just around the corner, I guess, you know, like
Of course.
like
It's called continental drift, chef. Okay, things change.
I mean, they're robots, so I
And
guess they
here,
could
too.
probably travel places faster, but Adam's just like, all right, drive the car faster. It's like, yeah, well, okay.
I think Gisite and Hercules were supposed to be nearby, whereas
Yeah.
Adam was like basically back home.
Yeah, he was just like listening to it from the car radio of doctor guy that Adam was hanging out with, and just been like, no,
Normal-
Brando, no.
Normal child behavior.
So I do kind of want, then as brought up, I kind of want to like touch upon why I love the introduction of Adam in this,
Yep.
because what I love the most is like, how to describe it. This is this would be the equivalent of reading a Superman comic and Superman shows up on like on like the 50th page.
Yeah.
This is like such a, I mean, even back then, like even looking back now, is such a unusual thing where like all the expected villains are being picked off from something else, some other force. And Adam is just pretty much, like you said, like trying to find ways to things
Be relevant.
human relevance. I think also like finding more things he enjoys in society, going with his doctor's orders. Hang on, like the way him and like Gesh first interact, and yeah, like you said, kind of like how we get hints at Adam's, you know, it's okay, this is where like the super metaphysical Tezuka thing happens, of like his power of super empathy, I call it.
Yep.
He's a super empath, I call it. So Adam's a super empath, and he feels so much, but not as much as who's gonna come later. In regards to like Astro Boy's like history with Professor Ocha, and sort of where you can kind of tell, if you know Astro Boy, like, you know, like in Mega Man, right? Dr. Light, Dr. Wily. So,
Yep.
and how that derives from Adam's, you know, Dr. Tenma and Professor Ocha. And how it literally is, it's a more nuanced thing of like the intention of robotics and their sort of philosophies in both Astro Boy and the other robots we have seen up to this point. And I thought it's so cool where like the reason Adam is so powerful and considered like the strongest is solely because of, like you said, the super empathy, but also like his ability to, his willingness to understand someone else, or try to like find ways to not relevancy, but definitely find ways to better understand his surroundings. So I just love that interaction so much.
No,
It's so good.
it's very interesting because, like, again, not knowing anything about Astro Boy, and then, like you said, Astro Boy is not even introduced into this until like the end of the first volume, as like oh there he is. All right, now we'll continue the story. They're not even introduced as like you know, maybe some other detective kind of story would introduce them as like, this is the actual weird detective that's like so intelligent they will solve that's not even their role in this. Their role isn't that. Their role is just that they, you know, like you said, they have empathy, and then we can do Gisite specifically seeks out Astro Boy to warn him, but also is getting the insights about, you know, the level of empathy that Adam has, and what makes Astro Boy himself one of the greats of the great robots, you know, in terms of that kind of skill that he has going on here. His AI's functionality to be able to understand those capabilities for humanity. And it's integral towards solving the case later on, I'm assuming, or like resolving whatever happens later on with the case, because Geseitz, as we have established early on, is cold, calculating detective bro. He, again, I described him, probably not fun at parties. He will be very good at his job, but he will not be fun at parties. That kind of dude. Whereas, you know, someone like Astro Boy is probably more helpful in certain ways towards this case, because he will have an understanding, you know, of if a person was involved with the killings, he would have more of an understanding of why a person would do the things in the way that they do, or what would drive people related to the story to do the actions that they do, as opposed to Geseitz, who would just be like looking at the facts of the matter, potentially, and like the traces left behind in certain areas to try to determine these kind of deals. So it's interesting, Adam's role in this, where it's like Adam is not the hero character here, at least right now. Adam is just able to help put together some of the other pieces of what's going on. Specifically, they get a peek at Geseitz's memory chip to look through what was going on with that, which then causes him to immediately go into the bathroom and cry, which I think that was like the one detail that had me confused, was that like, was he crying over some traumatic war thing from Geseitz's past that he saw, or was he crying because he thought that Geseitz was a certain type of person and felt bad for it? I was a little confused about why we immediately were just like, let me go to the bathroom real quick, and just cried at the memories that he saw, because we've been shown hints of his nightmare that he keeps having, which is some dude saying 500 Zeus per body, which hasn't been fully explained to us, but it seemed like it was one of the memories that was they tried to remove or overwrite whenever weird government secret training sleeper agent shit probably happened.
Right.
You know, that's probably like a remnant of that kind of bit, and perhaps Adam and Brow, who also eventually got a look at his memory chip, got a look at, and that maybe they were able to understand more what happened with the Geseitz, and Geseitz does not know the details, and so neither of them have decided to tell him for some reason. I mean, Adam would probably be because Adam feels bad. The serial killer robot is just like, that's very interesting. That's a very interesting chip that you've shown me. All right, anyways, goodbye. He was just like, oh, sorry, I wasted my time. And then he just says like a fuck you. He just says like the 500 Zeus per body. He's like, oh, I saw your nightmares. I saw your dreams. Not going to help you though.
I'm in your head now.
Nightmare. Because again, we keep revisiting the serial killer. The serial killer robot is essentially in the role of like the crazy, evil, but like would be wise in terms of if you're looking for somebody of a similar killer robot mindset, if that is the angle of what's going on here. But then again, we're getting with Brow, we're more so getting into the whole like what drives people to do the choices that they do, and what makes their decision making different than how a robot would do them. And, you know, once the artificial intelligence gets to a certain level, you know, does it really make a difference? Things like that. We had discussed about that kind of stuff a little earlier, but like, again, very interesting scenes. And yeah, it's all very, very, I just really enjoyed so much of like the little bits of all these characters that we have introduced. I think were we given a lot of information about Hercules yet? I think they were like one of the ones so far that I think his only thing was just fighting Brando, and being a part of the war. I was trying to think of what else was going on with Hercules, but maybe we'll just find out more about him later. But Brando's was like,
I kind of got that he was like even more of a fighter than Brando. And
yeah,
it seems like he was maybe a little bit more affected by the things that happened in the war, like more unable to move past it.
Right.
That was maybe the implication that I got, but there isn't a lot of like, and this is his whole fucking deal.
Right. And what's the other one? Oh yeah, Mont Blanc. We've been told about how great Mont Blanc is since the beginning. We haven't been told shit about the one that was introduced towards the end of this week's reading, Uran. We haven't been told anything about this character, but now they are here. And how was their introduction? It was like someone was like a child or something was being surrounded by literal lions and tigers who had broken out of a like transport thing, I guess. So there was, or it was the like tornado of like Pluto coming somewhere. And so her introduction is just getting a bunch of lions and tigers away from a child on the street. It's like, okay, this is how we're going to introduce this character. It's a interesting way to do it. Interesting way to do it.
Well, they
What were you
what
gonna
was the delivery to like Central Park Zoo that like animals escaped the delivery and then they were roaming.
There was
And then-
literally I think there literally was like a single tornado that somehow only affected this one specific car.
That was-
kids.
You know, that's a weird tornado. Why does this keep happening? There's like weird tornadoes that keep happening in
Right.
places. Huh.
Right there.
Gold War doesn't explain this.
I like
Anyway, we're not going to think about that.
That's very weird. It just keeps happening. You know, it was weird when it happened to Mont Blanc. That was pretty weird. Everybody knew about that one. And it happened in several other places. Yeah, I don't know.
There's just no way to prevent this, says only nation in the world where this happens
Hey,
regularly.
listen, Brando tried to prevent it, okay? Brando was like, I will fight the clouds real quick.
Damn,
Don't worry, guys.
Lord.
Damn,
Yo, we
Cloud
got
got hands. Oh, he got my hands now. Oh, he made my hands the horns. Oh, shit.
God, think of the children.
The clouds went, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself.
The Brando went to fight. Brando tried to sound like on the radio like he won the fight, but we're like, okay, but you died though, so you probably didn't win the fight. And now it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well now his body pieces are like scattered all across the sea. Takes us like probably weeks or months to like search through them for his parts. And eventually we just find his arm sticking on the island or some rock somewhere. So we're like, oh, this thing is
horns.
not dead. Because I was
we
like,
got-
I knew he
middle.
didn't win. We're like 2 volumes in to like an 8-volume series. I'm like, okay, so he didn't win.
No, you're talking about he won.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
definitely.
like Aubrey, Heart Part 6. All right, that was a good
He
match.
won in his heart, and that's what matters.
He got him
True.
real good, alrighty.
I got some good ones in.
These clouds, though.
Regeneration ability.
I tried to just fight natural disasters. I don't know. They just happen. By the way, fucking the visual. Did any of us take a screenshot of it? The visual of Pluto in that shot was like fucking crazy. Hold on, I think Shadow posted it at some point. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
Oh,
you
I did,
posted-
yeah.
Yeah, because you posted, I cracked the code. It's him.
It's
This
it's Boomer Quanger. The problem is I'm kind of right though, right? Like there's no way.
Oh, 100%.
Look at this.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because, like, it's. I mean, Mega Man is Astro Boy. Like, it is.
Yeah.
This is.
That's not, yeah.
I'm gonna show who Shadow says Pluto
Wow,
is.
this is just
Obviously,
like the
Pluto.
Pluto.
Pluto is this. Who is this?
It's
Shadow. Who is this?
Boomer Quanger.
Yeah, this is Quanger. This is. There you go.
Tim.
Okay, Boomer.
We got him. We got him.
So this is like one of the only parts of the anime I feel like I wouldn't say fall flat, but I kind of wish was done a different direction. Because in the anime it's a 3D model.
Oh, I
There's
see.
a bunch of effects on it, and I'm kind of bummed out, but I get it. But I do wish kind of like there was a way to just keep the energy of when you see that silhouette in the tornado, and you actually see just how massive Pluto is.
Yeah. It's a very nice, like, evil presence that you're being shown in the visuals of these tornado things. And again, the whole time you're just being asked, like, okay, but could it have been
Where
a
the fuck is
human
it?
who did some of these murders? Because there's also still the question of, you know, maybe a robot is the only ones who could have killed the robots. But for as far as we know, most robots are not capable of killing humans. We know, like, one case where they were able to, which tells us that there could be more cases, but we don't necessarily even know if the same person who killed the big robots would also be the same thing that killed the humans involved with this, because it could have been that a human killed them and a robot killed the robots, or some weird combination. I've been trying to think if it's going to end up being some weird thing where it's like it's a human doing it, but they're like remote controlling some kind of robot deal, and so they do not have to obey by laws of robotics that say do not kill a person when it comes to killing the people themselves. But I don't know. I was trying to come up with like ideas for like how they could get away with the, if we don't just go with the idea of obviously a robot just killed the humans. If we just don't go with that, and I try to think like ways that a human could have done it, maybe it was something like that, because we would need a way to leave absolutely no traces for our greatest detective robot to be able to detect any traces of a human there. But yeah, I don't
see. I went the other way,
Where'd
like
you
how
go?
a robot could kill a human. Because I'm very like slightly acquainted with remind me Isaac Asimov's Laws of
Yeah.
Robotics.
yes, yep,
The first one being the first rule is that robot cannot harm humans.
yeah,
There's a couple of oversights of the Laws of Robotics. One of them is it's interpretive,
right, yeah,
and also like it's on the assumption that you know that you're doing this action.
Yeah,
right.
put them in a cage.
Also,
So if you just don't know if it's a human, then you can get away with it, right?
Yeah.
Or you tell a robot, hey, put this in their food and it's poison. Then they kill the human, but they didn't know.
I just wanted to blow up the house. I didn't know there was people in the house. Nobody told me that. Nobody.
If we learned anything from Will Smith shooting that robot in iRobot,
This is true.
Damn
It's
it.
true. It's true.
is that sometimes the laws of robotics don't abide by American weaponry.
Are you telling me the whole North number 2 Paul Duncan subplot was all just the can a robot write can you write this music? Can you do this? And the robot just going, can you? Are you telling me it's all just that? It's all just that meme? It's just Will Smith just going, damn, fuck, he's right. Oh, fuck.
It's all Converse had. Pluto comes out with kicks. He comes out with Converse. Comes out with Air Force Ones.
Or what the definition of harm is, because there's a good one. Does psychological damage count as harm?
Oh, okay, true. I think they were not psychologically killed, though. They looked like they were
No.
very
they got
dead.
so psychologically fucked, they killed themselves, and then we go up and do the murder.
Oh, so okay. So the robots caused them to kill themselves, and then they destroyed their house and everything around, and then mutilated their bodies, and then made it look like they had horns. I see. It's a lot of
Although
steps.
it's occurred to me. Don't answer this, by the way. What is a human within the context of the 3 laws of robotics?
But it was biped, obviously.
Yeah, true.
Not a woman, that's for sure. Because Asimov, and old sci-fi writers back then were very infamous for being outrageously degenerate.
Oh.
And respectfully, the laws of robotics, again, Will Smith, laws of robotics. The first thing they show when the robots turn evil is an old lady. Because an old lady, according to Asimov, holds us all back.
What the fuck? Holds us all back?
Read books. Hey, read books.
Read books. Okay, all right.
Read iRobot, okay?
Go read iRobot, then go watch it with Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Wait, was he in that movie? I don't remember him in that movie.
He's in the movie. He's the kid. He's like, yo, I got the Nick Converse, man.
Oh my god. I did not remember him being in the movie. Okay, listen. So as we all know, Pluto is based on the Will Smith movie iRobot. We all know this. So what was there any other details? Oh yeah, the America's shadow puppet controlled by teddy bear AI memes. It's fine. Don't worry about that. Everything is normal over in America. Democracy is coming to save the day in the 50th Central Asian War, which is coming next year. Don't worry.
Come next year.
Are they just like every year wars that happen there? They're just like, this is the 49th fucking Central Asian War. How often do they fucking happen in the world of Astro Boy?
It's a leap year. Okay, so
it's a leap year. Oh, sorry. My bad. We get 2 wars this year. Okay.
Jeff, you understand, okay? We're using war as a business.
Ah, true. Very, very true. Meanwhile, we also have the pro wrestling business of the robots. Okay, that's Hercules undefeated because their Brando, their next challenger, just kind of fought the clouds and then lost. So I mean, he thought he won. So does it really? It's fine. But Hercules is like, what was it? He was like refusing to do new fights. Because he's too focused on that stuff and like the fact that there's
busy.
Yeah, he wants to. Yeah, he's just let him fish. Let him fish. Let him prepare for his fight to get revenge against Pluto.
A robot wanted to do a piano. Why can't a robot fish?
Why not? Just let him fish. Meanwhile, Adam was talking with what did you say this doctor's name was? Ocha something? It was like T something. I think his name was supposed to be like literally like T something. Ocha something. Yeah, what's his What the fuck did you just say to me?
No, I mean that's his name. Ocharamaisu. I think, hang on, let me
Ocharamaisu?
Tiramisu?
That's a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
I know, fake
food.
Let me
Ochanomizu. Okay, yes.
Ochanomizu.
Ochanomizu. He was talking to him at some point. Oh my god, I'm looking at a picture of Ochanomizu on AniList. And it's this goofy ass face, which was definitely not the face in Pluto. Here's his face on AniList.
Yeah.
And I don't
know what you're talking about. Those are exactly the same.
That's Dr. Light.
It is. You're right.
Absolutely no difference.
Let me show it on stream.
That's one of the founding fathers.
And let me find the
fucking Dr. Wily ass.
Ochanomizu Pluto. Let me find him on Pluto.
No, not German enough. Sorry.
Damn, I did not notice how large this man's nose was.
So big.
But no, remember, okay, so I do want to kind of say this now we brought up his face. So his original design is what inspires Dr. Eggman, both as a visual and then as like a philosophy of saving the animals.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Okay,
there you go. That's Dr. Eggman.
Eggman's philosophy is saving the animals?
That's Jim Carrey right there.
That's Jim Carrey right there.
Yeah, I know Jim Carrey was from like early 1900s.
He just warped his face into a Japanese man.
Okay, but yeah, so Adam is talking with Ochanomizu about the case and about Brow, and that's where we get the whole line about like there was nothing wrong with Brow's AI. It was perfect. It was the perfect AI. And then Adam just talking about like, oh, are you saying that this is like an intended consequence of humanity or some shit? I forget what the actual line was, but it was something along those lines. And then we get into the whole Gesite has his memories different in some areas, potentially as a sleeper agent. We don't worry about that right now. We have bigger issues like planning this goddamn trip to Japan, which the trip to Japan is how he figures out that they have false memories implanted, where they're just like, yeah, we'd like to schedule a trip. And they're like, oh, well, we already have your accounts on file from a past trip. And they're like, what the fuck? We've never been through this service before. What do you mean we've been on a trip somewhere else before? And then they were like, well, we did go on a trip for like a training mission thing, but that wasn't through that service. We seem to have a lot of vacation photos for something that I was supposed to be spending most of the time doing training for my work or something. That's a little weird. I wonder what happened on that trip. Anyways, I'm just going to go back to looking into the case now. And then he tries to consult with Brow to like look at his memories, and Brow's just like, huh, interesting. Huh.
That's pretty cool.
I will not elaborate. Goodbye.
I've seen human civilization forever, honestly.
By the way, okay. All right. Why are you ever giving your memory chip to the serial killer robot and then inserting it back into yourself? Why are we ever doing this? That sounds like a nightmare. Why would you give it to the serial killer robot? And then you heard them say that several other robots who had tried to visit him had been killed as well by Brow. Why would you ever do this? And then when you do it, he's just like, interesting. Anyways, get out of my face. Like,
there's no virus in here, okay? It's perfectly safe.
Champ,
Listen.
if I do not put in my social security number, how are those Nigerian princes gonna give me the 10 grand a month?
It's fine.
Oh, no.
If we don't trust the government, we might as well trust the serial killer robots, right? You might as well. I mean, it's the natural
murder.
Yeah.
And then new guys commit murder. We gotta
nothing wrong.
It's the natural next
Nothing
steps. Okay. How are we feeling about characters here? What characters did we enjoy? What characters do we resonate with more? Who did we like? Amitz, we'll start with you. We'll go in alphabetical order. Memes.
Sure. I think I think right now I am a huge fan, especially in this early in the story. Huge fan of North number 2, obviously, and then, yeah, I would say I still really appreciate how they introduce the main character, Geisha's intro, and sort of like his whole like personality sort of colliding with all these sort of figures. And yeah, I think it'll be those two for sure.
Okay. Aztec, what are your thoughts?
There's one thing we didn't mention, and I'm not sure if I'm just seeing shit, but there's like a cool moment of symbolism, I thought.
Oh yeah.
When Astro and Gasite like swap their memory chips, the detective has his memory chip like slotted into his head, and Astro has his like in his chest.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh, okay.
Yo,
Yeah.
like Steven Universe. Oh my god, bro. The gem, because it's all gut feeling, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Like one of them's very logical, and the other's a much more emotive person.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very interesting. I did not catch that at all, but yeah. Okay, I see it now. Holy shit. That's very interesting.
Did
That's
anyone
very
know where the killer robot put those in?
Ooh.
It was hard to identify what his body parts were at that point. frankly.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Like
completely
the
fair.
spaghetti body don't look too good.
It's also in his head, like Temple.
Mm. Neat.
That's where his heart is.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
The machines need hearts.
Aztec, what character resonated with you the most?
I like North number 2 the most, but that's mostly because he's had like his full character arc already.
He had his arc, his hero moment, and then he left. He didn't have to be here for longer than like half a volume, and he already left
He was
impressions
there
on
for like
us.
3 chapters, and honestly, it was wonderful.
That's true. That's true. And they were all named after him too. So, based. Detective Galaxy. What were your favorite characters?
I would probably also agree with North number 2. Just that whole story was like very short, but genuinely very good. I do also actually really enjoy the main character. I find the emptiness that he has and that sort of disconnect between himself and his understanding of himself and who he is to be really interesting.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
Robo Shino. What do you got?
I think like I also really like North number 2, but for kind of weird answer, the robot cop's wife. Like I felt like that entire
Oh.
sequence was very compelling.
Yeah, that was
because
really good.
Yeah, like so it's like, oh, here's his memory too. It's like keeping the memory of him along. And I guess like probably the reason that they don't just remake the robot because like he's probably like a mass produced robot is like economic because like why are you gonna make this robot again when you can just make a new robot? But the fact that like he's just like dead, even though you can probably just make the robot again, and I'm sure like they have backups of his data, like they literally have his memory chip, but he's just like dead was like very interesting to me.
It was very interesting as well for me because it's like this is a moment that is very clearly showing us that the robots are not just pretending to behave the way that they do all the time just for the sake of humans. Like this is Jasite and the robot wife of the other cop just like hanging out, and he's delivering the bad news to the wife, and it's a very emotional moment with that. Even though these are both robot characters, it's a establishing scene to establish like their AI has developed to the point where even though they will look like a mass-produced robot housewife person, they still do have emotions on par with like humans in certain extents, which is why again we still have several humans that are arguing for robot rights and things like that, because we have characters like this who may look like mass-produced robots but have all of these nice little moments and thoughts with them, even when we know there's no human presence. They're not putting on an act for humans at all times. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
There's also a really nice contrast in that scene between those two characters, because you have it's sort of following that same thing of like all of these robots having developed emotions or something separate that is similar enough that the distinction no longer matters. But the robot cop's wife being like further along in her own understanding of herself and her emotions, where Gesite is still very like sort of conflicted and disconnected from them comparatively.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, and I kind of want to like ask the question, then I'll just tie everything back to these great points. So Minnie Mouse, right? So do you think Minnie Mouse, Pluto, her pet cat, Pete the cat, do you think they're all choosing their domestications and their autonomy? Do you think at any moment they can all put the collar on and be obedient to someone else?
This is
I'm
very
sorry, I zoned out for a second. What are we
I think
talking
we are rapidly approaching cybersmith territory, and I don't think any of us want to be there.
very, very
Like, I'm being brave
thought-provoking
here.
questions. Yeah.
Is this going back to like the Mickey Mouse thing where Pluto could maybe
Yes.
just decide to be somebody's
It
pet
will
anyway?
always go back to Mickey Mouse.
So is it a kink thing?
I think that's enough time we have tonight. I think.
The other important detail that I don't think we mentioned before about the Gesite going to talk with the robot wife is we got to see the memory chip eventually of the dead robot cop, and the robot died because I think it was just like a random drug person or whatever.
The death seemed to be a coincidence, but there was
Right.
like the robot noticing the person or the figure, I guess, leaping away from the building.
Right.
Yeah, I actually got a screenshot of that.
Yeah, because normally the robot would be able to like focus and like try to handle the situation, but they got hurt specifically because they tried to zone in on what the fuck is that thing over there, leaping across the buildings in the sky, which Shadow's given the photo of, and I'll post in there. Which, you gonna say?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the implication being that this may perhaps be the entity which was involved in the human murder that happened in that area or in like some other area nearby or something. Like it may be related to that, because we focused on that, and specifically we made a point of saying that that's not that is a human somehow. We've somehow identified that is human, whatever that is.
It is something that is accomplishing this seemingly like superhuman feat, but it is still registering as human to the sensors of the robots,
right,
that have like examined it.
Right, which is why it made him like hyper focus on what the fuck is going on over there, and then so that's like a little other detail towards hints of who the killer is. Shadow, you were gonna say a meme, I'm assuming. What's the meme? What do you got for us?
When I was looking at that, in my head, I'm like, that kind of looks like how I originally thought the Gun Devil from Chainsaw Man was going to look like.
He's just leaping across the buildings, shooting people.
Well, from my interpretation, I thought he was just like a really small, really fast motherfucker. That's what I thought.
How many did the Gun Devils kill? It was like a crazy number.
Yeah,
right?
I thought he was going like supersonic speeds, but I guess not.
Well, listen, maybe one day we'll read Chainsaw Man for book club. That would be a very interesting time. Listen,
that'd be an interesting conversation.
But yeah, so the robot wife was a very interesting character that played more of a role in this than I expected, and it was still impactful with it. I don't know if it was because the whole most of our robot characters just seem like humans in terms of their appearance. And then we have this character who's just very much like the stereotypical robot, but it has AI that's like similar to how these other robots act. So it's very, very interesting. Shadow. So I'm sorry. Yeah, you go, and then we'll go to Shadow.
Yeah, I was gonna ask real quick in regards to that, like the scene where they have like all their photos from trips on the wall.
Gesite and his wife.
Even back then, I was like, who took those photos?
Yeah, true. Well, I didn't know if it was some weird shit like they had some weird sci-fi tech to just take selfies as an AI robot meme or whatever at any point. But it is a selfie. Yeah. I didn't know if it was some weird like sci-fi tech thing or whatever.
Hologram camera.
That does bring up an interesting question of like other unique sci-fi tech stuff that's been introduced. We've been introduced to Gesite himself does not have like a gun because he can't kill humans. He has like this thing that looks like I don't think it looked like a gun. What did it look like? It was essentially that it was supposed to shoot out like, what do they call it? Hypno gas or whatever. It just knocks people out. I'm sorry, was someone saying something?
Oh, just it's like his Full Metal Alchemist gun mode.
Oh yeah. What other, was there some other tech thing? I thought there was another the armored suits for the robots.
The Gundams.
The little Gundams that they got for their the pro wrestling Gundams, you know.
Oh yeah.
And
cars.
There was a whole weird conversation about redesigning the police car to make it more to make it more friendly to the public. So we're making it like a dog or something, I guess.
So when they pull up, you don't get look at that.
Watch out.
Have your idea out.
They pull up, shoot everyone and your dog, then they get into their dog car and then they drive away. And then
yeah, not the clown car was ridiculous. Get a load of this.
Oh my god. Shadow, what was the characters that resonated with you?
North number 2.
North number 2.
I know, it's crazy.
It's just a North number 2 sweep. You know, he came and he had an amazing arc. We got to see his whole story and then he's gone. I mean, Brando, we got to see a little bit of too, but and he died as well here. But it's like,
yeah, kids and shit, but I don't know.
Look, I'm sure if we got to see Mont Blanc's story, we'd love him as much, but
apparently we'll make whole documentaries about
it.
He
Off dead.
Look, he was just a good Swiss robot. I'm not like he's suspecting him.
I love
Swiss Army robot.
He would never do anything bad, especially not during the war. Don't ask what he did in the 49th Central Asian War, okay? 39th,
you know what?
Whatever. He'll be in the 49th one too. Don't worry.
Again, leap year. You know what? Maybe this can be a good time to kind of appreciate Adam, as like they actually do treat him like a child versus. Because they see the tornado towards the end, and it's at the chapter 11, and it's like, yeah, okay, go fight that. Go ahead.
Just go fight the clouds. I think that's what we learned here. Just go fight the clouds.
Clouds got hands.
Well, look, if anybody's supposed to have their head in the clouds, it's supposed to be a kid.
Yeah, true. This is true. And I liked how too.
Doing bits at this point, but I did really like that scene where Adam is just like in the car listening to this, freaking the fuck out, and then just that final shot of like the house where his family is, and the other person in the car being like, "Yeah, you could, but don't you want to just go home?
You know, your parents are waiting for you. And he's like, but people are.
Don't you want to be a normal human boy?
People are dying here, okay? I was patched in all the way from like Turkey or whatever while I'm driving here, okay? And I just saw some deaths. It just reminds me of when you watch Dragon Ball Z and you're like, okay, we're seeing the fights happen, but how is literally everybody in the world also seeing the fights happen? And it's like we have like some weird bullshit reasons, like news cameras are just capturing it all, and so everybody can comment on what's going on, or they're watching it through like weird spirit orbs that like show them what's happening there. We have to have a way to show everybody else what's happening, and so that we can get the reactions from the other people. And but I mean, here it's more impactful.
In 5 minutes.
Well,
it just made me. Sorry,
there it's like throwaway lines for Dragon Ball characters to comment on what's happening. Here, you know, like you had said, it's more impactful because of that whole final shot where you're seeing like, okay, but don't you want to be a normal human person, and would you like to go home? Your parents are waiting for you. And it's like, but I am literally the most empathetic robot there is, and you are telling me to ignore the shit that I'm watching as I like or hearing as this shit's going down. I can't do that. I gotta leave probably.
And it's effectively doing a contrast with what Brando himself had done to get to that point, because he had to like literally lie to his family about what he was doing so that he could leave and go do this fight.
Yep. It made me wonder too, why did Brando radio them much earlier about this? You know, calling some backup from them. Brando's just like, I can handle it. I gotta prove myself here. I'd win. I'd beat the cloud. I beat the tornado. No problem.
It can be leave Jiren to me. That's what it was.
I'd say it's probably two parts. One, that he didn't want them to stop him from doing it.
Yeah.
And two, he didn't want to drag them into it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think there's also a practicality question there as well of like, if they come along, what are they necessarily gonna do?
He's the one with the Gundam.
He's the one with the Gundam, but even that was like fucking nothing. It just got completely torn apart by whatever this like killer thing is.
Yeah. Because I think at this point they knew that someone was being killed, but they didn't realize just how powerful they were. They thought maybe like perhaps these were being like killed from sudden sneak attacks or whatever, as opposed to like a straight one-on-one fight. But now we as the reader know that even a straight one-on-one fight, you're getting fucked up by that tornado.
Even a straight one-on-one fight with like arguably the most powerful one. Yeah. Because there was I think it was kind of a toss-up between Brando and Hercules as to which of them was actually stronger, but like they're in the same weight class essentially.
Yeah. It was annoying too. They're not allowed to use their like mobile suits outside of the fights, you know, because of military restrictive reasons, I guess. You know, because otherwise
they're just owned by the company.
Yeah. So they're just like, he has to like get the dude to like sneak the thing out for him so that he can use it for the thing. He's trying to be, oh no, I just want to train. I got to train for the fight real quick. I ain't got time for it some other time. I got to be able to do it now. Right now. You'll lie and get this out for me, won't you? You'll get it out for me, right? Hey, thanks, pal. Anyways, I'm going to go fight the clouds now. I just it's supposed to be a sad scene. Every time I think about that scene, I'm just like, Brando, old man, goes to fight Cloud, yells at Cloud, and dies. And
Grandpa, watch out! The tornado's coming.
Listen,
old man cries at Cloud.
He had a whole family and everything. He was like, let me go handle the tornado real quick, okay? But it's okay. He thought he won in the end. He absolutely didn't. But he thought he won in the end, and that's all that matters, right? You know, that's all that matters.
It's like lots of advice. You gotta interpret the victory.
Was that a JoJo reference? Weather report.
The truth actually doesn't matter.
This is
you
true.
You can decide the truth for yourself.
This is true. You know, just the news
Who
reports
says
just
it
gonna
wasn't
say
Halloween?
What is the victory? You know.
The news says, oh, this robot rights activist, these robot rights activists just keep getting killed by a strange tornado that keeps coming around the towns. I don't know anything about that. It just keeps happening in various different countries. Just one tornado kills only this one person and then leaves. What are we going to do about it? I don't know.
That would be a crazy thing to see on the news. Just tornado hates man gone.
Freak tornado kills all of my political rivals specifically. Don't know, one at a time systematically. How does this keep happening? Huh? Don't know.
Shot themselves in the head.
It's very unusual. I don't know. Anyways,
the tornado guy was just that invigorated by my speech. Okay, I'm able to change the physical laws of nature with my speaking skills.
It is very unusual. Anyways, America has now declared the 40th Central Asian War, invading country which now no longer has mega nuke robot in its residence. That's like my idea in my head of like what happens next. It's just like, oh, that robot's gone. Time to go to war. Lock in. Clear that out real quick.
Oil.
Just invade a South American country one more time.
Just
one more time.
A little democracy as a treat. No big deal. All right, let's see. Is there any other details that we still have to bring up about general things? I think that was like, for the most part, all the main details.
There's one thing I want to bring up about
what's that?
North number 2. The old guy he sees him sleeping. He's like, "What the fuck? Robots have dreams?"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's like,
like right before he goes up, he's like, "Hey, North 2, I finished the song. I come over here.
Oh,
I gotta play it for you."
It's
Where
trash,
is he?
dog.
Where's Nord number 2?
Oh no.
Where'd he go? Oh yeah, I fired him. Oh, you guys don't want my music? You don't like my new music? Why not?
Ass, dog.
That's okay. I didn't want to make music for them anyways.
10 out of 10.
I didn't need them to listen to my music. I got Nord number 2. He's gonna come home any day now. Oh, Nord number 2, you're back. Oh, you gonna go fight the clouds? You gonna go fight the clouds real quick?
All right, sure.
Everybody's going to fight the clouds.
And then they died together.
It happens.
Yeah, and Astro Boy didn't do anything about it. I think he's the real villain.
It's true. It's true. It's like, it's like when you're watching.
Empath,
it's like when you're watching.
So much about the tornado.
He's just at home watching on the news about all the horrific shit happening. He's just at home. He's just not doing anything about it. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. You could be out there. You could be saving the day right now.
Average armchair activist.
Kill them all, Adam.
Kill them all. I'm just picturing those panels where they're in the war, and it's like all those three, Mont Blanc, Brando, and Hercules being like, fuck, shit is fucked here. All these dead bodies. And you just see off to the side Adam just be like, hi everybody, how's it going? Yeah, we're making our way through. Don't worry, peace is on its way. It's like, oh no.
Adam appears with a red helmet and a yellow scarf.
But my interpretation when you're saying that, I thought you were going to say, okay, so this guy killed 1,300, just killed 1,400. Adam, he just killed like 5,000 robots.
It's no big deal. Adam probably killed the most, but it's fine. He's empathetic about it, so it's fine. He feels bad about it, but
if I wasn't programmed to just be so successful, I think
that's how Brow thinks. He's just like, yeah, just I can't help it. I'm just programmed too well. I just got to choose whatever the fuck I wanted. I just chose to kill. I don't know. I'm just that good.
Yeah.
What is a human? A miserable pile full of secrets.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, what's the human detective guy's name who just give me like, hey, Gesite, you fucking piece of shit robot. What's that dude's name?
Bitch ass motherfucker.
Bitch ass motherfucker. That's his name. Does he have a name? Is he actually relevant at all in the Astro Boy world?
I think he does have a name, but
white man
doesn't matter.
White man, because I didn't know if he's gonna end up playing a bigger part later or whatever.
That's fair.
I do remember we did have a scene of Gesite in the war, or one of the many Central Asian wars at some point, where I think they're going into a building, and some guys in there, he's just like, you guys dropped bombs on this building, and all it had in it was sleeping babies. You piece of shit robots, you just killed all these sleeping babies. And Gesite's just like, I do not understand.
Coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
He's like, listen, I'm just here to do my robot job. I'm out here to
I'm
spread
sure my
democracy.
God-given right.
I'm just following orders.
Meanwhile, the
I'm
sleeping
giving my
babies are dying. It's fucked up and evil sight.
The detective is
Nuremberg
Detective
too. This
Naoki.
time there's robots.
What was the detective?
How was she?
Okay.
You should look up his original design. It's hilarious.
Oh no. Listen, it's going to be very interesting to go through most of this, looking at all the Naoki Urasawa designs of these, and then going back and looking at, this is this is creature. This is
That's him.
Oh my god.
Well, let me put him on stream.
Man's got a comb for a nose. Let me tell you, you got that brushed nose.
Hey, you Gasite, you piece of shit robot. All you goddamn robots are evil. You don't understand humans, okay? One of your kind must have done this one. We don't take kindly to them robot detectives around here. I got a job to secure. Oh, you found like 20 pieces of evidence I didn't find instantly? Listen, you just had to give me more time. That's all. You just had to give me more time. Yeah. So I think that about wraps up like all the general details of things. Is there any like lasting discussion points we want to bring up before we get closer to wrapping this up? Any thoughts, concerns, opinions, hopes for the future that we want to bring up? We'll start the other way this time. Shadow, do you have any thoughts, concerns, memes, dreams, hopes? What are you thinking?
No, not much to add here. Sorry.
Okay, Robo Shino, you got anything you want to add?
I don't know. I'm expecting at least one person to die in the next 2 volumes, at least.
This is true.
Listen, we've killed 3 supposedly. We haven't directly seen the deaths of them, but supposedly we have 3 deaths. As far as we know, they fly into clouds, and then we see parts later on of them. We don't know if they're actually dead.
Chap, you've been reading too much Umineko.
Hey, they did not declare it in red. I don't know if they're actually dead.
Oh no!
Okay, you know what?
What are we doing?
So I think, so Battler, is he?
Yeah, Battler might.
Do you think he would? How would you think he would feel about these robots? Do you think?
He would say robots aren't real. He would definitely be racist to the robots. This is just
you can't sexually harass these robots because they're men.
That's true.
I think like Tawashi, he would just start saying slurs. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. He's accepted furniture, though. So, like, and how far is that from robot?
See, I feel like Battler would be like, "Yo, you guys fucking seeing this shit? Holy shit, this fucking robot!"
I am. Though, the hell this.
They're putting in a ballot. They can vote.
I am interested in seeing what happens with Uran as like the new character that we were introduced with towards the very end. But I am interested in potentially future volumes to see if they will introduce as Shino and I believe Galaxy I mentioned more like women characters or women androids or whatever. Like right now it's just a bunch of like gruff old wartime men and then like little tiny Japanese boy. It's like
no, sorry, Chad. This is all you get.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know, but yeah,
it's a story about the paisanos. Okay.
Anything else, Shino?
Girls. Okay, that's it.
We demand Yuri and Pluto somewhere. We demand it. This is what we demand here.
I'll fucking find it.
You'll find it. You'll make it happen. Okay, good. Detective Galaxy, what do you got for us? What are your thoughts, concerns, opinions, hopes, dreams? What do you want?
I'll probably be wrong, but I'm gonna go ahead and call my shot here and say the murderer is something that. Yeah, it was Chap the whole time.
Sorry,
you're actually in this.
I couldn't help it.
No, I understand.
Sometimes you just become a cloud.
You had to confess.
You had to confess. Become a cloud and kill shit. You know, I mean, yeah. What's your shot? What's your real shot?
You find that's not the real one? Hold on.
Okay, what's your backup shot?
Yeah, my backup shot. In case it isn't Chap. It's some sort of like experiment or something that makes it ridiculously difficult, if not impossible, to tell if the origin of this thing would be considered human or robotic.
Oh, they put like a human brain inside a machine.
Something like that, because there's so much about that dichotomy and like the characters themselves just completely breaking it down without actually realizing what they're doing. That feels like I guess, maybe something thematically appropriate. I'm probably wrong, but you know.
Some Mega Man level shit.
What's that one meme about?
Yeah, it's a biometal.
What's that one meme about? If you replace one neuron, are you still human? And if people say yes, okay. What if you replace like 80% of your neurons? At what point do you stop being considered human or whatever? Maybe.
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
Is this the ship of Theseus, but for humans?
I guess maybe. We'll find out.
Your Honor, I was a different person. There was a different person who committed that crime a month ago.
I was not the same person. You don't understand.
Every cell in your body is replaced like 7 years. So technically, I didn't burn down that orphanage.
So that's what happened with Beatrice. I understand.
Yeah.
I promise you the red checks are going to show up.
Aztec, what are your thoughts, concerns? What do you got?
Well, I feel like it's just kind of a given that Astro survives to the end.
I would hope. Listen, maybe he dies and then we just continue the Astro Boy series with a new Astro Boy.
Astro Boy 2.
North number 3 comes to life.
If you replace Astro Boy with a second identical Astro Boy, is it the same Astro Boy?
No, it's the second one. You just said that. Come on.
Shit, you're right. I'm so sorry.
That's right.
How do we know he has not already been replaced during the 39th war? How do we know he's not replaced every war?
Do you think Pluto can take Goofy's place? Take the collar off.
Stop.
And tuck Max into sleep.
Why do we keep bringing up pet play into Pluto? What is this? All right, Aztec, you got anything else?
It's pretty funny though.
No, I have zero real expectations for this story.
Okay. I will just say, I was immediately hooked on this to the point where I ordered all the manga volumes. They all came in today. I have them all physically. They're great. Like I said, I was reminded of Watchmen while I was reading this because I loved Watchmen and it had very similar narrative things going on that had with me. But it's more interesting to me here because of the sci-fi human AI connections going on with it, along with the political intrigue going on with it. I am very interested in the killer Pluto as like this evil entity force that just keeps appearing as like a tornado that sweeps through and selectively targets things. Very much enjoy. Like, this is just a very great introduction, I think, for me. It just works really, really well for me. And it gets me very interested in all these characters involved. And I'm very excited. And I think the main thing that I'm hoping for is I am very interested in Brow. And I hope Brow has more of an impact on the story in some way other than just Gasite sometimes goes and speaks with the crazy robo killer, past killer or whatever. I don't know what role they would play or how much of a role they should play, but I love those scenes with that robot, and I hope that they get more scenes in some kind of way.
Chap, their body's a bunch of spaghetti. What are you gonna do?
Hey, listen, we got ways. Okay, we can trade memory chips. We got ways. They're probably hacking into Gasite's brain right now. Now that he's inserted the chip again, it'll be fine.
No virus in the chip. Don't worry.
It'll be fine. It could happen. The other thing too, I want us to expose Mont Blanc for the piece of shit that he actually is, because he's definitely. Once we kept showing the documentaries, everybody loves Mont Blanc. Everybody loves him. He was a hero to everybody. Oh, everybody that works here. Oh, we're all just volunteering because we loved Mont Blanc so much. Everybody loves Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc. Mont Blanc, bro. This guy.
You're just some Swiss robot. I don't know why you keep picking him up.
Mont Blanc probably did some fucked up shit, or is Pluto, and is getting revenge to everybody. Okay, I feel like that would be amazing. So
he's actually just robot Robert E. Lee.
Umineko truly has ruined you, hasn't it?
Bro, Mont Blanc.
Umineko does that to everyone.
Mont Blanc is if you know Watchmen, Mont Blanc is the comedian, right? Because the comedian died at the beginning, and the comedian was a piece of shit in the background of everything going on. So obviously it's a joke. It's all a joke. Mother forgive me. So that's basically what's gonna happen with Mont Blanc. So
yeah, well, you see, I'm actually glad you brought that up because there is an actual real life reference to a figure that Mont Blanc's based off of at the time. And we'll get to that.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. All right, Amidst, what do you got? Thoughts, opinions, concerns, hopes? I mean, you already read the whole thing, so I guess it's just thoughts, opinions.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be like into that. Like, first off, I'm actually really excited to get back into this, and secondly, I'm actually really glad everyone likes overall views on it really positive. I make all the 9/11 jokes, but there's a silver lining. Hang on, there's a silver lining. Where it's like
a second tornado has hit.
A second tornado's damn, that tower got hands. No, my favorite thing with this series, I think it's just same with Tezuka's, a lot of his own work. There is, I think, a really, I wouldn't say sad, but I think it is like a very important sort of relevancy, sort of Tezuka's and Urasawa's, I guess, sort of views on and the themes of humanity through our own creations. And I don't know, I just really enjoy this kind of sci-fi where there's like definitely a lot more, there's a lot more, like you said, political and sort of ideas being thrown around and concepts. I think it's cool that at the core of it, you do have this genuine sort of perspective and sort of how much it kind of reflects a lot of, I mean, even especially nowadays, a lot of sort of these turmoils and like nearly incomprehensible powers that bite us. And I don't know, I'm just really excited to keep going into it because, by the end of it, I then get to kind of talk about my sort of enthusiasm and like how much it kind of influenced Tezuka's like philosophies kind of influenced me because I have actually a lot of his Earth Day merch, and like every Earth Day I try to get something from Tezuka, and I even have like one of those original shirts that has his quote where it's like one of the last quotes before he passed about sort of his views on what it means to be grounded in an ever-changing environment. And I do kind of, looking back on Pluto, I think I'm not really there yet where I fully understand how much it influenced me. But yeah, I'm just really excited to get to this, man.
Yeah. Well, I am very excited to see where this goes next. Who will fight the clouds next time? Will we ever defeat the tornadoes? Will anybody ever think the random tornadoes that kill one person are weird? Will the president be exposed for his weird teddy bear in the back of his press conferences? And will Gasite ever go on a trip to Japan like he keeps planning? That's all we're worried about here. We're not worried about like who the killer is or anything,
I mean, we know it was you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was me. I just couldn't help myself. I mean, vengeance.
It was also Boomer Kuwanger. It's very interesting.
No,
I'm the god of death.
that was the other you.
Oh my god, Chap is Boomer Kuwanger.
Yeah,
It all
the
makes sense.
horns. I set up the horns as like a little quirky meme.
Yeah, you're just like him. You're also Boomer.
It's like a Homestuck reference.
If only Andy were here.
There's a lot of things going on right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to discuss Pluto Volumes 1 and 2. Next week, we will be discussing Pluto Volumes 3 and 4, which will be chapters 16 to 31. So we'll be here on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick starting Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, as usual. You can find links to all these things at wolfborg.com, or you go to twitch.wolfborg.com, youtube.wolfborg.com, kick.wolfborg.com. Make sure you're following. You can also join us at Discord, discord.wolfborg.com. If you are interested in the text discussions around this that we have, if you want to be a part of the book club, or if you want to be part of the live discussions, you can join there and grab the book club role, and you can be a part of these fun times that we have here. And we will see you guys all next week for the next 2 volumes of Pluto. Stay safe, watch out for clouds that got hands, and we will see you next time. Let's raid out to I think Obobo is streaming now. We'll go say hi to Obobo. They're playing Honkai Star Rail. They're honking it up. Say hi to them. Goodbye, gamers. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Don't die. Watch out for the clouds. And the war. Watch out for the 40th Central Asian War. And we'll talk to you all next week. Goodbye, stream. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.